welcome to the podcast.
Welcome. I am Holly Feltz.
I am Sally Dale. We are friends. You are friends with us.
If not,
you will be after you listen to this.
I thought you were going to say, why can't we be friends?
That would be a better branding if I said that, but I'm going a different route. Okay, I have to tell you something really quick.
Okay.
Andrew and I were in Joplin, Missouri. Beautiful Joplin, Missouri. Mm-hmm. It's actually a pretty cool little town. Anyway, we were driving and I was looking at a book or something, and Andrew was on the phone, and he gets off the phone and he goes, Sally, did you see all those cars pulled off on the side of the road earlier? And I was like, no. He's like, oh man, I wanted to point it out to you. There was a woman pulled off the side of the road pooping behind the concrete barrier. And I said, is it all?
Oh my gosh. Hopefully everyone is overjoyed to know that we brought poop back to the podcast.
Bringing it back. We did a listener survey, and there was one comment that wanted more poop stories. Thank you to everyone who did the listener survey.
Yes, that was very helpful, and we always enjoy just hearing how you guys are liking the podcast or not.
My favorite comment was to the person who said, we asked the question, are there things you don't enjoy? And this person said, when you say bev as in beverages, I don't enjoy that. And I just left this, I don't enjoy that.
I don't like that.
They don't like when we say bevies.
They don't want to get bevies with us.
And I need everyone to know, I said this the first time we said bevies on the podcast. I said, listen guys, we're saying this ironically. We don't actually say that, but there are people that do, and we're kind of making fun of those people.
But maybe
we're bringing awareness.
Maybe us joking about it is us starting to say it. Because we're like, do you want to get bevies? And then it's like, oh God, that was so, they're with us on it's annoying.
Yeah, it's annoying.
And now it's almost like we're against ourselves because we're saying it, even though it's a joke. Maybe we'll just stop.
Maybe we need to retire that one.
Let's retire it.
I was glad there were no comments about our country accents, like people not liking them, because someone didn't like my country accent. I just don't know if I could keep going on with the show.
I think I'd figure out how to block them from the podcast.
You are no longer allowed to listen.
You ain't welcome around these parts.
Get out.
Go on. That's how my daddy used to get rid of wild animals at our house. He'd say, skip, get out of here. Okay, I also want to share something funny from a listener. I got a message, and side note, I love when people message us if they have something funny related to some, like, oh, I was doing that and that happened to me. Or in this instance, I got a message that said, so I was listening to the podcast yesterday in my car while doing a grocery pickup, and the woman walks up to my window just as you were saying, ripping a big fart in your accent, and I couldn't turn it down right away because I was digging in my wallet for my ID, and I just cracked up and uncomfortably looked at her and said, oh, I'm listening to a podcast. Sorry.
So we've now mentioned, we've made it sound like our podcast is only about roadside poop stories,
bodily function,
and farting, both which involve Holly.
But you know what? We all do it. This episode is called Everybody Poops. No, I'm just kidding.
We're not. This episode is not going to have any poop stories.
Don't turn it off. We're going to go somewhere different with this, I promise.
Yeah, but it's nice to hear from the listeners. And I meant to do this last week and I forgot to. I wanted to give a listener shout out to Alex.
Yes.
Alex sent us an email 2 weeks ago. She was listening to the episode. I think we called it our adult friendships, or why is making friends so hard, or is it hopeless?
Is making friends as an adult hopeless?
There we go. That's what it was called.
I gotcha.
And she just moved cross country and left a really tight-knit community. And when I got the email, anytime I get an email from someone, I'm just like, oh gosh, what was this about to say? My mind goes there. And she did say that she had to turn it off a couple of times because it was a little bit pricking some raw nerves. And then she said she kept listening and it left her really encouraged and she appreciated the conversation. And I emailed her back, but I also just wanted to say, I'm really impressed with Alex for kind of getting a little prickled, and instead of like getting mad and going, I'm never going to listen to that podcast again, finishing listening to it and then not necessarily coming to the conclusion, you were right. That's not the win, but I just thought that's really awesome to listen to something that you're not sure how you feel about it and respond in that way. And Alex, Alex, if you're listening. We hope that you are making some new friends in your new town and you find your Holly, Alex. You find your soul, your bosom buddy.
I don't like that term.
I'm going to change your contact in my phone to bosom
buddy. And then I hope you're in public somewhere and someone has to go, "Oh, Sally, your bosom buddy is calling." No, I think when we saw that email initially, like you said, we were both like, "Oh God, wait." Yeah. And then we kept reading, almost like Alex kept listening, even though. But I think it also reassured, like what both of our goals is that our goal is not to speak from a place of arrival or expert or like we know everything there is to know about friendship or motherhood, because we obviously don't.
We don't know what the heck we're doing.
You especially. No, I'm kidding. But I think both of us just come from that place of like, I hope that it's well received, that we don't have we're not putting ourselves up on any pedestal. We just wound up in front of these microphones and we just hope it's okay.
Yeah. And today we're talking about something we're definitely not experts on, which is, are we doing this right? Finances. Dun, dun, dun. Which if you're listening and you go, finances.
I don't want to talk about finances.
Nobody does. That's the problem. So I don't know about you.
Okay.
I'm going to finish this sentence. I don't know about you.
But I'm feeling 22. Sorry.
No, but especially when Andrew and I were first married, I remember, and also now, and also this is still relevant today. Okay. But looking at people who are maybe a few years down the road from us, or even peers, and just kind of going, I wonder how much money they have in their bank account, and just so because I want to know like how we're doing, how we measure up among our peers, like. Do we have enough money in our bank account? I wish someone would just tell me how much money they have in their bank account so I could know how much money I'm supposed to have in my bank account and just know, am I doing this right?
Yes.
And I still think that today.
Oh, 100%. I think especially, we both got married young. And I think it was more common when we were married young that we were kind of on level playing fields with people our age. We didn't really have a ton. We were living on less. And you're just younger. Like, it's not that we had been saving up our whole lives at 20 years old.
No.
So, but I think now that we're getting older, first of all.
I'm turned 30 this year.
Wow.
I know.
You're getting
up there.
No, 30 is not old. I think 90 is old. Anyways, I think now that we're getting older and we're no longer going, where are all the adults at? Because we are the adults. It's even more so like, oh, have I fallen behind? Am I not in the place that others are?
Yeah.
Have other people been smarter than me? Which is always an obvious answer. Yes, there's always someone doing better in a farther place. Like, that is just life. But I think especially in like close circles or your friendships, you're over at each other's homes, or people are buying new homes, or they're not buying homes, they're buying cars and all of these things. And you sit back and you're like, should we do that? Are we supposed? Do we have the money to do that? Is it smart? I don't know. And it just, I think you can either go one or two ways. You can either get super discouraged and shut yourself off from maybe people who are in a different spot than you, or that you're assuming are, or you can go in the direction of too far, maybe the other way, and we're gonna work our lives away or take our eyes off of maybe something that was important to us, thinking that if we chase this thing, it'll make us happy because they seem happy with what they have.
Yeah. So last year, Andrew and I made a major life change. And Andrew had a regular job for the whole time we'd been married, been working in the same place. He worked for a church. So climbing the ladder, get a raise every few years. And doing well. We had awesome health insurance. The things that you don't think about when you just take for granted. Like, oh, I had health insurance. Anyway, so right after George was born, that signaled his 2 weeks to stop working. We decided it had been a long time coming. We both knew it was time for him to step away. at the same time, it's really hard to step away from your primary breadwinner's income. And Andrew does freelance creative work. So he's a really hard worker. And so I knew, I'm like, if we get to the point where he's just got to go get a job at Target, I know he will go do that to provide for us. So I wasn't concerned that he was just going to not do anything. Well, we went from steady paycheck every 2 weeks, health insurance, like all of 403Bs, like all of this stuff, to, all right, you're on your own. And he had a really good severance for the first few months. So that got us through like the summer of George being a new baby.
The summer of George.
The summer of George, yes. We called it the summer of George. And then the severance stopped. And it was time to stand on our own 2 feet. And we're both self-employed. And it's been a challenge because if you're freelance, you could make $10,000 one month. You can make $2,000 the next month, and you have to just go, how do I budget for my bills stay the same, but my income coming in changes? I don't know how much we're going to be making, and you can bill people, and they cannot pay you for 60 days. and you just want to go, I have the money on paper.
Yeah.
I have the money. It's coming. But I don't have the money. And it's been a real, just an interesting season of like, oh, we don't, I could go, buy a new shirt when I wanted to, because I know in 2 weeks, the same amount of money is just going to be replenished into my bank account. And now it's like, I have to decide, do I want, my water bill paid, or do I want a shirt,
Do I want new pajamas?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
I think, so we went through that exact same thing that you guys did, but at the end of 2019. And I think the fun twist for us was that we left Micah's job of almost 10 years and then came into the pandemic.
Yeah.
And went,
congrats.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
We had a baby. We left a job. And this is fun.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I have owned my own business for a few years now. And so I'm much more accustomed to the really random waves of income, and that, okay, if I want to do this or that, I mean, it's a whole different thing. But I think aside from whether you have a full-time job or you run your own business or anything, it still goes back to, am I in the same boat? Are we making smart decisions? But I don't know if the answer is so much measuring up against each other and what works for your house, because it might not work for my house. And I think that comes down to like different priorities or things that you want to do. Like for Micah and I, traveling is really important to us. We just enjoy it and we want to do it, and we will spend some money to travel, even if that means, well, not that,
if we
if we don't have a home, it's fine. We will travel. No, as long as our necessities are taken care of. But it means that we might say, oh, well, instead of putting an extra, $500 back this month, I'd rather go somewhere, and then I'll just figure it out later.
So Andrew and I were talking about this last night, because it's easy to look at other people and envy their lifestyle. And I was just thinking, no matter how you choose to live, everything costs you something. So I choose to stay home. I'm primarily a stay-at-home mom. I have a job, like I have a business, but primarily I'm with my kids. And I've had several people over the course of being a mother go, well, it's really lucky that you can stay home. And I go, well, maybe part of it is like luck, ungarnered favor that we have, but also a lot of it is choice, because we don't go on crazy vacations. We don't own new cars. I drive a 2009 Honda Audi C. It's an Odyssey that Andrew has put an Audi logo on the back of, just to class it up a bit. And
Nothing
it does.
screams class.
Nothing screams class.
Like
putting
throwing a different
it
luxury
is
logo.
so embarrassing. Ugh.
That's how I know to pick out your van in a parking lot is I look for the Honda posed as an Audi.
And he will not take it off, and it's so embarrassing. But we drive old cars. We don't go out to eat all that often. I'm not going to get my nails done, like things that we don't have a ton of subscription services, like Netflix or cable, or we did. I have unlimited data. We just switched phone plans, so I now have unlimited data. But for a long time, we didn't do unlimited data. Like we didn't do a lot of the normal things so that I can stay home. And the other day, it was a regular day. I'm at home with Dot and George. Dot is so excited to be home and play toys. And Andrew's leaving. And I just took a moment and I was like, thank you for going and doing what you do so that I can stay home and do this. I recognize like this is a sacrifice by two people with one aligning goal. But I think it's easy to look at other people who are like crushing it and killing it. And then I have to ask myself, well, do you want to be working a 90-hour, an 80-hour week? Do you want to have gone to med school for 12 years?
Yes.
To be making, and then on call every single day? Is that what you want? Like, no. And then then shut up. Stop complaining right now.
Get out of it. I don't know. And I think there's also something to be said about where, for our international listeners living in...
It's primarily India. Is that where they're?
We've got some European downloads and
to our Europe following.
Cheers. I think there's something to it's really pushed on us in the culture that we live in, just in our society, that happiness is directly tied to the number in the bank, the size of your home, the luxury car that you don't own, or that you do own, or that you should own, but that there's so much stored up in this. And so I think too, in living in the day and age of influencers and all the people on social media, we're constantly posed with the question of, do I need that? And the answer in our heads is always like, well, yeah, I need that. I will. Look how happy they are. And I think we've just become like desensitized to the fact that we're not directly connected with that person. And I think even speaking to myself, I'm trying out right now. For 12 days that I'm trying to not purchase anything that is not an essential, because
turns out most things are not essentials.
It does,
unfortunately.
And it's a problem. And I don't think I realized how much it was that I would maybe be on Instagram and see a really cute home design. Like I love to follow home designers or anything, just because I do, like, I think it's a fascinating job. But then I would find myself going, oh my gosh, I love that. If I had that, do you know how much more I would love this room? And I fall into this pit of, well, let's buy all new things and I'm going to be happier here.
I have a list of things I almost bought on Instagram.
Oh, no.
Let me just see. Things I want to buy. Okay. First thing we have that I wanted to buy it's called the Skinny Confidential.
What?
It's an ice roller. It's like a jade roller, but it's jumbo and it's icy.
It's jumbo.
It was in my cart on Instagram, and then I said, you know what? Maybe I can just wait.
Maybe I don't need it today.
What's this? A bear baby, Bearaby. Oh, this is a knit cotton throw.
Oh,
weighted blanket.
Nice. $200.
$200.
Now let's think about that.
This is, what else? Hey Hanny. Oh, it's a weighted razor.
You're really into weighted things.
Yeah. A weighted razor. I almost bought that. And then I also almost bought from Love Olive Co. this dress that I don't even remember, but at the time I really wanted it. Yeah, there are so many things that are in the moment. Well, I almost bought. Also, Bobbi Brown just started a new makeup line, and she has this all-in-one product that is cheeks, eyes, lips.
And you need it?
I was in my Instagram cart, and then I was like, I don't need this. So many things that you think that you need, that when you step back and go, you know what? Those are
maybe it's
those are not
essential.
Needs. Those are wants. Whoops. Yesterday, even I have a work day on Tuesdays, and I finished a great pump at the gym.
She was pumping.
I say that because Holly really hates when I say that.
I do.
I finished working out, and there's this really great salad place that I love to go to right by my gym. And I pulled up the app to order the salad, and it was going to be $20 just for one salad. And we're talking, lettuce, grapes,
Really cheap
things. And I was about to just go, oh, well, it's my work day. And then I thought I could feed my whole family for $20. And this is only lunch. I don't need to do that right now. And it was one of those taking a moment to deny myself something. And then later, Andrew and I, we did take the family out. And I was thinking, I'm glad I didn't spend $20 just at lunch for me so that we could go out now. But you have to choose. You just have to choose what you're willing to. You're going to pay for everything. You have to pay for it now or later. So if I buy the face ice roller now,
the jumbo
ice roller, I might not be able to buy dinner for my family later.
Well, and I think also, I feel like I heard somewhere once, if there's something like a purchase that you're really wanting, wait 24 hours before you buy it. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to do that.
Even
I want
20
it now.
minutes.
Right. Just to even give it the second thought. But I think what's important when it comes to things like financial decisions, something that, okay, we have to have money to live and do the things that we're doing day to day. That's a given. Mm-hmm. But I think taking the time to go, what is a priority to me? And if you're married, to my family, but to like define that for yourself before going to, well, let's just keep moving. Let's just keep doing that. Let's like to stop and slow down long enough to go, maybe if we take some time to like define things for us, or even to take the time and go, where is our money going? Let's print out a bank statement and just see. And it's like taking the time to recognize. I know there are times for me where I will be like, I don't want to check the account. And it's not out of because money is either overflowing or really underflowing. It's because I don't want to face the decisions that I know that I've impulse made. And again, this is not coming from me being like, I have so much money that I'm spending. It is not that at all. So please hear me. It is me
Holly
going.
has nothing.
I have nothing. No, but I'm just saying too, it's not always that I would be happier if I was a millionaire, because I'm like, if I do well with what I have in my hands right here and just learn to manage what I have.
Yeah.
Maybe I would be happier instead of constantly desiring things that I don't have and I'm not working towards it and I'm not willing to sacrifice for it.
That is probably the biggest lesson Andrew and I have learned or just seen play out over this last year. So he was technically making more money with a full-time job or more accounted for money. But he was working all the time. And we were, he's got his phone at the table and he's got to be called away at a moment's notice and stressed out constantly. And we've traded that for less money. Still all of our needs are provided for. But if he wants to come home on a Thursday and take the kids to the zoo, he can do that. And so for me, I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe our bank account is less, but we're living better. We're living better with less. And for us, that's been a huge win. And we went to the zoo the other day on a Saturday. It was packed, beautiful day. And I was just noting on Saturdays, the zoo is usually really full because that's when most people can go to the zoo, because most people cannot take off work or just stop what they're doing during the weekday to go to the zoo. It's usually like stay-at-home moms and right, that are at the zoo on weekdays. And Andrew and I were just like taking a moment to be grateful for, if we want to go to the zoo on Tuesdays, you have the type of work schedule that you can stop what you're doing and we can take the kids to the zoo. That's really awesome. Mm-hmm. And that we can do that and just changing, instead of we don't get to go on any trips and I don't drive a Range Rover. And
but it's
why am I not in a Range Rover, Andrew?
I feel like even just hearing you, it comes from the place of you guys defined what was important to you and then decided to work towards that.
Yeah. And I would also like to know it's not been without pain. Earlier this year in the fall, I wanted to buy new clothes. It was my first fall postpartum. I've worked out really hard. I want to see this body in some new clothes. And Andrew goes, okay, you can spend this money on clothes. And then he goes, but let me show you all of the bills that we have to pay. Do you still want to spend all that money on clothes? And I was like, no, but I guess.
I do.
But no, he's like, then you have to be aware of, like, you're spending this, but it's going to cost you something. And if you're okay with that, then you can do it. Let's go right ahead. But I kind of wish you weren't okay with that. And I've learned to be content with less. But then I also just have to go, Sally, what are you complaining about? What are you have what you need. You don't need, do you have clothes? Do you have food? Can you get a frozen caramel every Thursday? You have what you need. There's nothing else that you just like take a step back and be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for the things you do have. It's that T.I. song.
Wow. Are you going to rap for us?
My So, all that to say, as we love to wrap up here at Why Can't We Be Friends, all that to say, I think if you're feeling like you don't know if you're doing well or if it's financially tough, I have been there. And I can't go, you just hang in there and it's all going to be fine. No, because I don't know like your situation. It might not. I don't know.
Might not all be fine.
Might not all be fine. But I do think even if it's not all fine, you can take a step back and realize you're probably doing better than a lot of, well, not even that you have to compare against a lot of people, but in the state of the world, with everything that's going on, it's like, do you have clothes? Do you have food? Do you have a shelter? Yeah, you're doing better than a lot of people in the world are, I don't know where I'm going with the sentence. Holly, help me out.
No, what I was going to say. We're going down. No, I think the first, like you're saying, first step is always at anything that you're going to evaluate and want to change or desire to change. I feel like the first step is always like being grateful for what you have right here and now, and not in the cheesy sense of like, just be grateful and then that makes everything better.
Choose joy.
Just choose to be happy. Just do it. But I think then going, okay, if you're not happy, you feel like you're struggling, you feel pressed financially or whatever it may be, I think it's not to continue to look up blogs on how to get out of this, or maybe follow that one person who has really good money tips, but also has a very extravagant lifestyle. Or I think it's maybe shutting off our phones for a second, closing the computer, walking away. If you're married, sitting down with your spouse face to face, phones down, and going, I feel stressed. I feel anxious about this. I don't like where we're at, or it is more of a priority for me to maybe stay home with the kids now. And I want to talk about how this can practically happen, not because I don't want to do something, but because I want our life to go in a different direction than it is. And then I think, like I said, just head down doing the work for you and your family, because the truth of the matter is we're not all going to show up to a dinner party with our bank account statements, and we're not all going to be able to measure up.
Though I wish we would.
I might go to a party like that just to see what it's all about. But I think we're never going to be able to pull back the curtain on everyone's lives, even the ones that we're super interested in or just really want to know how they pulled that off. But I think it's taking the time to define what's important to you and then working a plan that works for you guys. Because like we said earlier, I mean, it's not a one shoe fits all kind of situation.
I saw a while ago that Johnny freaking Depp made a lot of good movies.
I forgot about him.
Yeah. He is in unbelievable amounts of debt. I don't know if he is still, but we're talking, I think, hundreds of millions of dollars in
Johnny
debt. Johnny Depp.
That's a good one.
There's someone who's made millions of dollars and still struggling financially. So I just think it's a good reminder, like, money doesn't solve all of your problems.
It would be nice if it did.
Nice.
Okay, I'm with you.
I'm not saying it wouldn't be nice.
But it's not going to change your bad habits.
Yeah.
If you have a bad habit with $5, you're probably going to have the same bad habit with $500.
I've noticed too what you were saying with the spending freeze. I've been it's as part of like fasting for Easter. I'm abstaining from sweets. And I'm only 3 days in. I could go for a frozen caramel. But I've noticed when I go to the pantry to find something sweet, I'm like, what is the real reason that I'm here? It's not because I'm hungry. It's usually because I'm bored. And I think that's the same with my spending too. Yeah. It's not because I actually need something. It's just because I'm bored. Let me get on Amazon. Let me do this. And so
let me browse my customized Instagram shopping page.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, Instagram.
And so there's a deeper reason beneath the reason. And so maybe we need some hobbies.
Maybe we need better hobbies.
I think that's what we need. You need to get those painting supplies back out. I'm going to craft something with my craft hair.
Oh, God. All right.
That's a good segue into the week 3 cleaning challenge.
Yes. I don't want to talk about your hair anymore.
Listen, the people want to know. No. I think they do. I think they want to hear. Last week, we were supposed to clean out a makeup drawer in the bathroom drawer. Holly, did you do that?
No. I'm doing it. I have to work right now, after this. And I had plans to do it this evening because I was getting ready this morning and I was like, it's time to clean this out. Not even because it's overflowing with stuff, but because nothing feels better than a fresh zone in your home.
I need to do it. I also haven't done it. But my reason is because I almost burnt my house down on Sunday when I was cleaning. I was making chili. I was cleaning the house, making chili. It was vacuuming, and I had the vacuum plugged in the kitchen, and I went kind of around the corner, and I didn't realize it, but it pulled the cord tight, and it wrapped around the grate, my oven, like my stove.
Oh my gosh.
Grate, so that the cord was directly on the fire because my chili was simmering. So so I finish, and my children are in there. So I'm vacuuming and I come around the corner and see that the cord is on the grate and it's melting off and the rubber is melting off and it's starting to flicker.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And so I stupidly, instead of unplugging it, I go and like touch the cord and I'm going to try and take it off. And then I realized, you know what, Sally?
That's dumb.
Maybe we should unplug it first.
Yeah.
And so Andrew came home and I said, can this be salvaged? He said no. So
is there a DIY for this?
Can we fix this? And so he told me he's going to get me a new vacuum, but he hasn't done that yet because he's been busy. And so I cannot possibly clean without a vacuum.
Without your vacuum.
Yeah.
Well, for week 3, you're not going to need your vacuum. You're going to need your good old fashioned hands and get to scrubbing.
A magic eraser, maybe. We are doing a fridge clean out.
Clean it out.
Guys, it's time to get rid of that random can of chicken broth. That old salsa. That cheese. Yeah,
that old salsa.
That jam.
You're not going to eat it.
That jar of jam. You know the one.
If there are things in there, maybe there's condiments that aren't expired. Figure out if you have a local, I don't know, what is it, like the food pantries where you can donate some of the things, or just get it out. Just get it out.
I don't know
clean it, tidied.
That people in need want your old fridge condiments.
I'm saying if they're not expired. I'm saying like sometimes you buy things and then you put it in there, but you're like, you're not going to eat that. It's unopened.
I'm going to help the poor and give them my old ketchup.
Here's my old rotisserie chicken. No, don't be you can give that to the raccoons outside, okay? They will be thankful. Clean out your fridges. Get it cleaned up. Maybe you're feeling wild and you want to hit the pantry too.
Yeah, it's all food related. Get rid of it.
Clean it up. Freshen it up.
One of my one tip I will share. I went and bought some old plastic table mats.
Yeah.
And cut them to the size of my fridge.
Wow.
Yes. So when things spilled, I just took the table mat out, cleaned it, and then put it back, and it keeps your fridge from getting all, you know.
Yeah. Ugh. Well, I like that. Maybe I'll do that.
Do that.
As always.
Thanks for being friends. As always, what? I don't know.
As always, leave us a review.
Oh, that's right.
Hit the 5 stars. Apple Podcast reviews help a ton. And as always, the main thing that helps, is telling a friend.
Yeah. And if you enjoyed this episode, if you want to send us a note, if you are listening to the podcast and we say big fart, ripping a big fart while you're picking up your groceries,
please let us know.
Something comparable to that, let us know.
We love a good laugh.
We do. Have a great rest of your week, and we will see you later.
Bye.
Bye.